Okay, so here we are live once again with another DC Multiverse unboxing, and this is McFarlane Toys Digital. It's Batman from No Man's Land, and we're going to compare this one with the Norm Brayfogle Batman from a while back. Now, you might remember that this one was a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. You could only get this on their website. So it's not a very common figure, and it's my favorite Batman action figure of all time. At least out of what McFarlane made. I don't know, there's a lot of Batman action figures to compare to, but this is certainly my favorite McFarlane Batman action figure. But this one's very similar in a lot of ways, and we're going to discuss the ways in which it's similar, and the ways in which it's different, and the ways in which this one's probably more accurate to the or less accurate or whatever. We're going to figure all that out. This one is actually much darker color than it should be, because it should be a little closer to how he was colored in the Bronze Age, like this superpowers figure, for example. But they made him a lot darker because he's supposed to be like silhouetted on the cover. So that was their way of trying to capture the feel of that. But by this point, Batman actually was being colored with this color scheme in the comic book. We're going to discuss all that. There's a nice piece of artwork on the back. I believe that's from one of the covers of the No Man's Land storyline. So if you're not familiar with this storyline, basically what happened was Gotham had suffered a major earthquake, and had been separated, basically kicked out of the country because it was such a disaster area. MHD is here, and he says, that Batman you showed is looking great." Yeah, well, they're both great. So I'm looking forward to having this one open up and talking about him a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. But yeah, so Batman was basically trying to hold Gotham City together after it had been cut off from the rest of the country. And there's the trading card, same piece of artwork on the trading card. There's what the back looks like, and it reads McFarlane Toys Digital Batman, real name Bruce Wayne. Following an earthquake, Gotham becomes a war zone. It's up to Batman and its allies to restore law and order in one of the Dark Knight's greatest epics. Yeah, brief, but kind of sums up that storyline a bit. They did use elements of this in The Dark Knight Rises, which just talked about that yesterday while I was talking about the Scarecrow. Was that they used? I talked about how they used elements from Batman the Cult in Dark Knight Rises, which is a story that I really enjoy. But they also used elements from No Man's Land, like them dynamiting the bridges and Gotham being separated from the rest of the country. There's the NFT thing, which I don't usually fool with, but whatever. And the figure stand, which has the McFarlane Digital Toys logo on it. I don't like that as well as the DC logo, but whatever. It'll still hold an action figure up. And then we've got Batman and his accessories. Now, like the Norm Brayfogle Batman and the purple Batman that we just talked about, and several other Batman figures that McFarlane has made, this one reuses the Nightfall Batman buck, which I like pretty well. It works pretty well. So he's got rubber tabs around his left wrist and his right elbow, and then both of his shins right above the ankles. And then we got him out of the package. And this figure does not have a wired cape. Why did they cheap out on that? That's disappointing. So let's go ahead and pull him out of here. So you can see the cape is it's that same kind of satiny looking shiny material that we got on Batman capes a lot, but for some reason they did not put the wires in here. Now the McFarlane Toys digital figures are a little bit more expensive than the regular figures, so it kind of irritates me even more that they cheaped out on the wires and the cape. Why did they cheap out on the wires and the cape? That's very disappointing. Nice head sculpt, though. It's a good sort of vanilla Batman head sculpt. It doesn't really look like any particular artist. Like I was saying, the Norm Brayfogle head obviously is based on Norm Brayfogle's art, and you can tell, but this guy is not. So really, I think this coloring is closer to what Batman should be colored in this storyline. This is a little brighter. You can see the blue is much brighter, and the gray is much lighter, but it's still a fairly dark blue and gray color scheme for Batman. Just in terms of like a general Batman action figure, I feel like that's a great color scheme. I really like it. Actually, it is pretty close to that Super Friends Batman I was showing off. It's like this is like a shade darker than this one, and this one is a shade darker than this one. So it kind of gradiates a little bit. But yeah, I am very disappointed that it does not have the wire in the cape. Captain Have Fun had warned me about that because he'd already opened his up and he was telling me that it didn't have the wires in there. But I was hoping just maybe his was defective or something. And maybe he just got one that they accidentally did not put the wires in. I could be like, hey, just buy another one and see if you can get a refund on that one. But they didn't put any wires in the cape. Why did they put any wires in the cape? Very disappointing, Mcfarlane. Shame on you for doing that. Don't do that again. So he's got some extra hands. And you can see the hands that come on the figures. He's got a solid fist on the right hand and a gripping hand on the left hand. And the extra hands that come with the figure are, they look like they're mirrored from that. You have a gripping right hand and a solid fist left hand. So let's go ahead and get those out. There's that solid fist. And there's the gripping hand. So you can use either hand to grip the Batarang if you like. And yes, he does come with a Batarang. Let's go ahead and get this out. And it looks like it's the same Batarang that we've seen with several of these Batman figures. Since I happen to have purple Batman's Batarang right next to it, I can hold them up and compare, and you can see that they are indeed the same mold. Just obviously the purple Batman's is purple. Oh, I love purple. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Batman's articulation. So Batman can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around to the shoulders. They've got that cool Mcfarlane butterfly joint, so you can move those around any which way. Of course, he's got a bicep, so the little bicep rotates all the way around. Arms raise up the shoulders about that far. He's got double jointed elbows, and that's about the range of motion you're going to get at the elbow. So this figure always has really great articulation at the elbows, even if he doesn't have a wired cape. He's got that great Mcfarlane torso articulation, so it rotates all the way around where the rib cage meets the abdomen and where the abs meet the utility belt. But the utility belt's kind of chunky, so it's kind of a tight fit there. And of course, he can wobble around any which way you want to. Bend forward about that far, bend backwards about that far. Side to side movement is about like that. So you can get some good dramatic poses out of Batman that way. Batman can kick up about that far. Pretty decent range of motion. He does have like a slight bit of wiggle room here. Doesn't rotate all the way around. Earthsuit says, "We Batman." Yes, we are. So and then we got the double jointed knee. That's about the range of motion you get at the knee. Batman does not have a boot cut, but the boot rotates all the way around where the boot meets, where the ankle meets the shin, and the ankle rotates all the way around where the shin or the ankle meets the foot. So there we go. Foot can point down about that far, point up about that far, and has toe articulation just to show off. Now, like I said, yeah, Chow Ma, I know who you are. I'm privy to your secret identity. Yes. So, and he says, posable cape looks really good. Unfortunately, it does not have wires in it. It is not a wired cape. I'm very disappointed that it is not a wired cape. So if you're going to ask me what's better between this one and the previous Norm Brayfogle style Batman, I'm still going to say this one's the best. This one, I love this cape. I love the kind of, it's just such a big cape and that sort of irregular shape. Oh, I love it. Man, he is awesome. I love this guy. This guy is the best. So, and I wasn't expecting a cape on this level. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. I was expecting something like, what we saw with the purple Batman recently, but he doesn't even have the wires in the cape. Very disappointing. Why did they do that? Why did you leave out the wires? This would have been a 10 out of 10 figure if it had had the wires in the cape. I would have said, yeah, it's not quite as cool as the Brave one, but it's still pretty awesome. So 10 out of 10, you know. But as it is, I'm gonna have to give him an 8. I'm gonna have to knock off not even just 1 point, but 2 points. 2 points for not having the wire in the cape. Shame on you, McFarlane. Very bad decision. I don't know who made that decision, but you know, dock their pay or something. But the color is good. I like the color. The colors on this figure are great. Now, I will point out something that is not accurate about this figure is you can see that he has blue trunks, and Batman did not have separate trunks on this costume. So usually the whole bodysuit was colored with gray highlights, where the cape, cowl, boots, and gloves were colored with blue highlights, but the trunk area was still gray. Now, technically speaking, this Batman costume is supposed to be an all black Batman costume, and indeed, McFarlane did make a platinum edition of this figure that is in all black. But I haven't seen it yet. I got these from directly from the McFarlane toy store, and this is the one they sent me. And I haven't seen these in stores yet at all. But if I do see the platinum edition, that's the all black version, I'll probably buy that one too, because I think that one looks really cool. But we got the Justice League, the Grant Morrison Batman from the Plastic Man wave, and this is one of those things that kind of kind of funny. And we'll talk about this more when I get the Troika Batman figure. But these are basically supposed to be the same costume. In the No Man's Land storyline, Batman did swap out his utility belt for the bulkier pouch belt because he could fit more equipment into it. Yeah, but these are essentially supposed to be the same costume, and you can see that in the JLA figure they did color it solid black, whereas this one they went with the blue and gray look. And I love the blue and gray look, and I'm not going to complain about that being inaccurate because it is accurate. This is still how they colored him in the comics. He still had gray highlights over the bodysuit and blue highlights over the cape, cowl, and gloves and boots. Like I said, the trunks technically are not accurate, but I'm not even going to complain too much about the trunks because I like, if he's a blue and gray Batman, I feel like he works better with trunks. That's just me. So, real quick, let's put the Batarang in his hand, and that way you guys can see him holding the Batarang. Where did I put that thing? See the purple Batarang? There's the blue one. Okay. So yeah, we've seen this Batman figure hold this Batarang before. I forgot to do it with the purple Batman actually, but yeah, there he is holding the Batarang. So getting ready to hurl it at some evildoers. So yeah, this I would have said that if you missed out on the Norm Brayfogle Batman, that this would be like a good Batman to kind of fill that niche. But him not having the wired cape, like I said, it kind of knocks it down a few notches in my estimation. So there's probably better Batman figures that you could get to fill that niche, I think, at this point. But yeah, it's still a great looking figure. It's just the like, I kind of feel like leaving out the wired cape. That's a step backwards, and they should not have done that. But I like the color scheme of it. I love the head sculpt. The head sculpt's really good. Probably one of the better head sculpts I've seen from McFarlane on a Batman figure. Like I said, it doesn't look like any particular artist. I think the ears are a bit longer and pointier than the Nightfall Batman. But yeah, he's still a figure worth picking up. He's just not as good as the Norm Brayfogle one, which I already had. So, he's basically like an inferior version of the Norm Brayfogle Batman, but still, a pretty decent Batman figure. And I don't regret buying them. I just, I just really wish they had to put the wires in the cape. So, big mistake. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. I still got 3 more figures that came in this assortment, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to open next. It could be Batgirl, it could be Nightwing, it could be Monarch, since I've got those 3 figures left, and I've got more Batman to come. I've still got the year 2 Batman over here, and like I said, I've got the figures of the Troika Batman and the red, gold, and black as bats, and now Chowny Ma is here. He's appearing in 2 places at once. It's like we had Andy Kaufman and Tony Clifton stop by. MHD, good seeing you as always. So thanks for stopping by. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, though. So next episode, I'll be back with one of those other figures. Yeah, I had the Batwing. That was the other one I have on the way. And I've still got more Batman characters to open up. Got a ton. And there's Captain Have Fun. He says, "I'm wondering if you got to this figure. It's a bit disappointing." Well, it's mostly a good figure. It's mostly a good. The thing that's disappointing, like I said, and you already know because you were the one who warned me about this in the first place. No wires in the cape. If this one had wires in the cape, I would think it was great. As it is, I only think it's pretty good. So, but like I said, if you don't already have like this Batman figure, the Norman Brayfogle Batman figure, which is probably my favorite one that Mcfarlane's made so far, this is a good figure to kind of fill in for that costume, I guess. But we got the Troika Batman on the way, and if that one doesn't have a wired cape, that's going to be a federal crime because that's the Kelly Jones Batman. And if any Batman artist demands for his cape to have a wired cape, it's Kelly Jones. But we'll see when I get that, hopefully very soon. I know that it's been shipped from Mcfarlane Toy Store, so I'm excited about that one. But I'm not sure which one I'm going to open up next. It's going to be Nightwing or Spoiler or Monarch. So we'll just see. Well, whatever the mood strikes me. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Batman, both the character in general and this figure specifically. And any thoughts you had about the No Man's Land storyline are worth putting in the comments as well. If you did not like this video, please give me a thumbs down because honestly, any bit of interaction helps with the algorithm. So just do whatever, like leave a comment and tell me that I talk too much in my videos and don't show the action figure enough, even though I hold up the action figure for pretty much the whole video. And I'm not going to just sit here in silence holding up an action figure. You see how boring that is? Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe. YouTube says that they like it when I say like and subscribe, so I might as well just keep saying that, and then more people will like and subscribe, and then we'll hear me say like and subscribe, and then maybe that'll get more people to like and subscribe. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I'm not like an algorithm guy. I don't understand the whole process, but apparently that does the trick because I have noticed an uptick in views and likes and subscribes and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I'll keep saying like and subscribe. It couldn't hurt, right? And I say it at the end of the video, so if you don't like hearing me say it, you can just stop the video at that point. You've already watched most of it, so, and hopefully you already liked and subscribed, so I don't really have to tell you anymore. You'd be like, yeah, I already did like and subscribe, dude. Why you got to keep pushing me? But anyway, yeah, we'll be back next episode with another Batman figure. Talk to you next time. Bye.